telling you, you follow the instructions. I'm sure you all must be having your registers with you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
If
ma'am.
so, what you need to do that I would suggest you can, if you have that open with you, you can share with me the or anyone which can take. I can take up the with me and I can make this little which is going to guide me for the numbers which are given in the table. Now, see, these are here. We have, if you all know that here we have ages, age groups. They have written ages here, right? And if I just take up these three categories which are given to us, right? So here we have the total number of these ages, that how many total number are there, and then we have the observed number of deaths. Then they have given us, then they have calculated the death rate also for us. And here we have, I think early, I just write it down as early, and this is for the later period. For again, in the middle of these two populations, please make a column and on the top of it, write down standard population. And here with each of these early and later period, please make another column and write down, because here I'm running short of space, expected deaths. Expected number of deaths, okay? That we will learn how to calculate. Expected deaths for the later period and expected deaths for the early period also we have seen. Okay, this is what we need for direct age adjustment. Now, in this age category, we had our age group of, I think, 30 to 49 probably.
Yes,
30
yes,
to
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
40.
30
Yes,
to
good.
49.
And here we had 50 to 69,
69
69,
and
and here
70 plus.
we had 70 plus. Okay, so these were the ages. Now, how do we take up here? As far as I remember, we had 500,000 for early period, isn't it?
500,000.
500,000?
Yes, ma'am. 500,000 for early.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
We had 500,000 in the early period, and I think for the later period we had 300,000 in this age
Yes,
group.
300,000.
300.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So, how do we calculate standard population for these periods? That would be
Adding up both of them.
500,000 to get 800,000 for this particular period, right?
Yes.
800,000. Got it? All of you? You have made this in your register. Make a big table and write down all these. Now, how would we? What are the? Please tell me that. What are the observed number of deaths which are given in our table?
In 30 to 49 age group, it's 60 number of deaths.
And what is the rate that is given?
12.
What is the death rate that they have calculated?
12.
No, okay, I'm asking you about observe. Let me just go back to the presentation so that I can see what is written over there. Let me just tell you that what I'm talking. Yes, so there it was 12 was the death rate, but the number of deaths are here 60. Oh, I'll have to create the. Okay, over here. Can you all see here? Now, what is the standard population that we have calculated for this particular age category? That is 800,000, right?
800,000. Yes.
We have made a column here. You can see, all of you can see my cursor, okay? We have created a standard population here, and the standard population for this particular age category is 800,000. How to calculate expected number of deaths? Like if we could have 800,000 population, this means all that these 500,000 individuals in the early period and these later period, 300,000 of the later period, if we combine this population and then we will see that how many deaths we could have in the early period if we would have, if this could have followed the death pattern at in this particular population. What could be the total number of deaths that we could expect to occur in this population of 800 if they would have followed this death pattern of 60? Because right now, what are the observed number of deaths? 60. Now, these number of deaths are observed in a population of 500,000. How many of number of deaths they would have occurred if we would have a population of 800,000? Got it? Or should I repeat this? Now, how would we calculate this expected number of deaths for early period for the age group of 30 to 49? This would be 60 divided by 500,000 multiplied by 800,000. Right? Divided by 800,000, right?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Divided or multiply by 800,000?
Read or multiply. Ma'am, multiply by 800,000.
Coming again, I'm coming to the whiteboard to show you the working. I'm writing it down. I'm noting these observed numbers with me so that I don't have to ask from you so that time there is disruption, so that I can show you the working here.
Ma'am, please
Okay,
let Muhammad Ali in.
Let me just take you to the whiteboard sheet. Let me just take you to the. Okay, it's there.
मैम ये वाला सेगमेंट रिकॉर्ड नहीं हो रहा.
It's not recorded. Okay, let me just take me. Isn't it? Okay, I'm so sorry.
देखो देखो
Now,
तो इकरा वहाँ जाओ.
Okay, fine. Thanks to
वो
you.
भी नींद में है
Just
सब.
reminds me of this recording. Thank you so much. Otherwise, we would have missed it. I hope everyone is joined in. So let me just take you to the whiteboard so that, okay, this is what it is. And we are going back
Ma'am,
to
can I help
our.
you write down
Sure.
faster?
Okay. Now see, this is our table that we have already drawn. So these are the observed number of deaths, right? Now, whenever we have to calculate our expected number of deaths, now we need to see that how many deaths we can expect to occur if this number would have been projected to a population of 800,000. Okay. Now we had a population of, see, whenever we have to make projections, what do we do? Per 100,000, we multiply it with the multiplier, Whenever we have to standardize something, we see that, okay, what if we had 100,000 population, then how much number we can expect to have
Laptop देखो.
for this particular disease, for this particular mortality, or for any of the measures. The similar concept lies over here. So how would we calculate expected number of deaths for the early period if we had a total population of
Mama left
800,000? So how would we do that? 60 divided by 500,000. 500,000 multiplied by 800,000, the standard population that we have. We are going to put these observed numbers. So how much number we get out of that in calculation?
96.
96, absolutely. So this means 96 deaths they would have occurred if this would have been a population of 800,000. This particular population in this age category of 30 to 49 in the early period. Now, if I take you to the later period, so please tell me the observed number of deaths which are occurring in the later period in this particular age category of 30 to 49.
वो फेंक देनी थी जो खराब.
Yes.
मैम
Sorry?
30.
Zayan, mama पढ़ रही है.
मैम
30 मैम.
एक्सपेक्टेड डेथ्स या
Observed number of deaths are 30.
Okay, so your voice was not coming clear. Any disruption from your side. So we can, let me just note down the numbers myself so that I can do it quickly for all of you. So we have this, okay, let me just take this again. Let me go back to the whiteboard again and see what I will do. Okay. So for this, we have 30 divided by 300,000 multiplied by 800. Just because of the space, I'm not writing the words complete, okay? These numbers complete, but you know that this is 800,000. So how many expected number of deaths are occurring in
80.
30.
Very well done. So if this would have been on this standard population of 800,000, so the expected number of deaths that would have occurred is 80. Similarly, for the next population, the observed number of deaths were 396 for the observed number of deaths were 396 in the early period. So this is the early period. I'm writing this E on the top so that you don't have any confusion. 396, we just divide it with its own population of how much population they had. 300,000 in this particular age category.
Yes, ma'am. 300,000.
Very good. 300,000. Then what we will do, we will multiply it with the standard population. How much standard population? This is 3 and this
700.
is 400,000. So you just calculate how much number we get, the expected number of deaths for the early period. How much would it be? That would be how much?
मैम 924.
924.
Okay, 920. Very good. Now, coming on to the later period again, so we'll be having, since there are 400 deaths observed, divided by this.
400,000.
400, yes, 400,000 multiplied by
700,000, ma'am.
very good. So, how much expected number of deaths are going to be there?
Ma'am, 700.
No, oh yes, 7.
700.
Good.
Yes, sir.
700 expected number. Similarly, for the last one, we had 406 observed number of deaths, and its population was 100,000.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
And population is 300,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That gives us how much?
1218.
1218.
Very good. 12, 18 are the 12, 18
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
expected number of deaths. Somebody is continuously talking on telephone, so please mute your mic. Okay. Now see, 12, 18 are the expected number of deaths in the early period. If this number, the observed number of deaths, they would have been projected onto the standard population of 300,000. So similarly, for the later period, how much? Now you know how to calculate expected number of deaths. How many number of? Yes, how much it is?
700 divided by 700
Yeah.
divided by 100,000
Yeah.
multiplied by 300,000.
We divide by 200,000, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Its own population. Yes, ma'am.
So 200 multiplied by 700,000.
300.
300?
300,000. 300,000, ma'am.
What is the result, Betty? What are the expected number of deaths which are occurring in the later period?
Ma'am, 1050.
Okay, good. So please, you don't manipulate this. Please, whosoever is there, please turn this off. My please, whenever you want to join in, so there is no hassle. You are already quite late in joining, right? So please, there shouldn't be any hassle and don't disturb the session that is going on. So please, that is how much the expected number of deaths.
Ma'am, 1050. 1050.
So much. This is 1050, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
1050 are the expected number of deaths. As far as, so please note down all these numbers. So you'll be telling me these expected. So the standard population that was written here. So we came to know that this was 800,000 for this particular age category, and this was 700,000 for this particular age category, and we know for the last 70 plus category that was 300,000, right?
Yes, ma'am.
300,000 is the last one. So this means that how much is the total standard population? We are going to have one, little row in the end also to get our total numbers, right? So the total population is 1800,000, isn't it? If we add them all together,
Mama loves you.
so that would make a total of 1800,000 population. Right? Now, please add, you need to keep, I'm writing them up with me also so that I 1, 12, 18 for the early period, and for the later period, how many expected number of deaths we had. So that should be known to us. Now I'm going to clear all these drawings and I'm going to write down early period and later period here again. So someone again is in the, so please, you are not going to, again it shows up and
Ma'am, I'm not doing anything.
no, you are not, I know, because you are not doing, I think the people who want to, they get really restless. I don't really know how to, okay, I know you are not doing this. So this is the later period. So in the early period, what we need to have right now, all the expected number of deaths that were there, 96 plus, you need to add total number of expected deaths for this, 96 plus 924 plus 12.
18.
So please somebody calculate this total number, and for the later period, the expected number of deaths was 80
1238
plus, yes,
for
plus
the early period.
730.
100, and then plus,
Plus 1050.
absolutely 1050. So this means, so how much? Please tell me the total number of expected deaths.
Ma'am, 2238.
238. Okay, and here between for this
1830, ma'am.
1830.
1,830.
30.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Now,
30. 30.
30, ma'am, 30.
okay, thank you. 30. Okay. So now see, uh, this is what is the age. We also call it as age corrected death rate. This is again age corrected death rate, or you can say that direct age adjustments also we can write down. So here in the numerator we write down total number of expected deaths, and in the denominator we write down total standard population. So how much was the total standard population? Do you remember? 1800.
1800,000.
Absolutely, 1800,000. And here again, so please
जाओ नीचे जाके आम
calculate this.
को देखने तो तुम्हें है नीचे के लिए
1800,000.
Ma'am, for early period, it's 1 to 4.3.
One,
124.
1,
124.3.
124, very good. 124 for the later
Point 3.
Ma'am, for the later period, it's 101.
101
तोड़ दो
One.
बाकी लैपटॉप
per 100,000, as we always know. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
by looking at these age corrected, see, after looking at these age corrected death rates or age corrected mortality rates after doing this age adjustment, what we can see that early period was less safe as compared to the later period. But what apparent data was telling us, do you remember?
Yes, ma'am. It said that early years were better.
Yes, it was saying that probably the early years they were better as compared to the later period, that now people are dying more. But now once we do that age adjustment, and then we saw that no, that was wrong, that early period was having more mortality as compared to the later period. Later period is safe as compared to the early, or we can say that later period had less mortality as compared to the early period. Okay, now let me just take you back to our presentation also, and then we will see that where we left and how it's given in the book. See, we are all clear about this diagram so far. Whatever information is provided in this table, we are all clear. Would we
Yes,
be
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
this from the book? Okay, now coming to this table that is given, this is taken as it is from Leon Goddess. Okay, now see, this is taken up. These are the observed numbers, which are, or the early mortality rates, or the crude mortality rates that they've calculated by the observed number of deaths that were occurring. But we made use of those observed number of deaths, and we applied those observed number of deaths onto the standard population, right? On these standard populations, and we got these numbers for the early periods. You calculated, you got these numbers yourself, right? So these were the numbers that you got yourself, and then these were the numbers that you got yourself by looking at from that calculations that we just did. Okay. Now then, in the end, what we did, age adjusted rates. How did we calculate that? We just add up all these expected number of deaths, and then we just divide them from, in the numerator we have our total standard population. Okay, and then we just got our population with particular rates for the adjusted rate for the early and the later. Okay, and you calculate
Ma'am.
yourself. Okay.
मैम एक क्वेश्चन है
Yes.
मैम ये स्टैंडर्ड पॉपुलेशन ये गिवन होगी यहाँ पे थोड़ी कंफ्यूजन है
Yes, all these 8 stratifications, they'll be given to you. And what you'll have to calculate expected number of deaths, and then you'll have to calculate this final step. All that calculation that I've done with you, that you are supposed to do if you get any such question in your exam,
ओके मैम
right? So that is what you'll be needing, okay? If you get this question. So any question so far? I know it's a little extensive calculation, so that's why I just I gave that alert sign in the beginning that you need to be with me for understanding this table, because it's not its calculation is given in a little complicated way in the table, but I've made this calculation a little easier, so for you to understand and for you to do even in exams. Okay, so you'll be better at it. So what you will be required to do if you get any such question, Similar questions are given in your exercise book also, and I would urge you to practice that also, because at times once you do something with me, because since I'm continuously giving you little, guidance also, and continuously giving you little points that makes things little easier for you. But I would urge you to do those calculations yourself. But if you get stuck, you can always come back to me, and we'll do this here in the book. So please remind me of those two numericals that were shared with me earlier, and I promise that I'll be doing those calculations here. They are related with incidence and presence, and they are given in your chapter number 3, question number 6 and 7 in your exercise book. So I'll be doing that for you also, because some of the students, they were finding them difficult to do at their own. So we'll do that also. Now, before moving on to indirect age adjustment, I would like to share one more example with you for you to understand that why is it important that crude rates and adjusted rates. This I've already shared with you, that crude rates are not always useful, and specifically for whenever we need to make comparisons, right? So now, if you just look into this, the crude in rate in Sweden is higher than in Panama. Why? Because it is confounded by age. Age standardization is nothing but adjustment. Now we'll see this example ourselves also in Sweden and in Panama. If you just look into these two different countries, you'll see